First contact and distress. The vast emptiness of space stretched before Captain Zara Chen as she stood on the bridge of the UAS Horizon. The ship's sleek design and advanced technology made it the pride of Earth's fledgling space fleet. Zora's dark eyes scanned the holographic displays, a faint smile playing on her lips. This deep space exploration mission was the culmination of her lifelong dream. "Captain, we're picking up an unusual signal," reported Lieutenant Kai Takashi, his fingers dancing over the communications console. "It's unlike anything we've encountered before." Zora's smile faded, replaced by a look of intense concentration. "Put it through, Kai. Let's hear what we're dealing with." The bridge speakers crackled to life, filling the air with a haunting, rhythmic pattern. It wasn't radio waves or any known form of communication. The sound sent shivers down Zora's spine. It felt alive, almost organic in nature. Dr. Amelia Rossi, the ship's gynobiologist, leaned forward, her green eyes wide with excitement. "Captain, this signal, it's not random. There's a clear pattern, a complexity that suggests intelligence." Zora nodded, her mind racing. "Kai, can you pinpoint the source?" "Already on it, Captain," Kai replied, his face illuminated by the glow of his console. "It's coming from a system about 2 light years from our current position. No known celestial bodies in that area." "Helm, set a course," Zora ordered, her voice firm with resolve. "Whatever's out there, it needs our help, and we might just be making first contact." As the horizon altered its course, Zora couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of something monumental. Humanity had long wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now, they might finally have their answer. The journey to the signal's source was tense. The crew worked tirelessly, analyzing the strange transmission and preparing for every possible scenario. Zora spent hours in her quarters, reviewing first contact protocols and steeling herself for what lay ahead. As they approached the coordinates, the ship's sensors began picking up traces of debris. Zora ordered the view screen activated, and the sight that greeted them left the entire bridge crew speechless. Floating in the void was the remnant of what must have once been a magnificent vessel. Its design was utterly alien, all sweeping curves and iridescent materials that seemed to shift and flow even as they watched. But now it was a wreck, torn apart by some catastrophic event. "Life signs?" Zora asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Dr. Rossi, hunched over her console, shook her head. "Nothing definitive, but wait." Her eyes widened. "There's something faint. One life sign, critically weak." Zora didn't hesitate. "Prep the rescue team. We're going in." Within minutes, Zora found herself in the Horizon's shuttle bay, donning an EVA suit alongside Dr. Rossi and Security Chief Marcus Wells. As the shuttle departed, Zora's heart raced. They were about to step into the unknown, risking everything on the slim chance of saving a life and making contact with an alien species. The shuttle maneuvered through the debris field, its pilots expertly avoiding collision. As they neared the alien ship, Zora marveled at its construction. Even in ruins, it was clear that the technology was far beyond anything humanity had achieved. They found an entry point, a tear in the hull large enough for their shuttle to dock. With a hiss of equalizing pressure, Zora led her team into the alien vessel. The interior was a maze of twisted corridors and rooms, filled with technology beyond their comprehension. The ship's gravity was failing, causing debris to float eerily around them. Zora fought back a wave of vertigo as they made their way deeper into the wreck. "The life sign is coming from just ahead," Dr. Rossi said, her voice tense with anticipation. They entered what appeared to be the ship's control center, and there, suspended in a flickering energy field, was a being unlike anything they had ever seen. It was humanoid in shape, but its skin shimmered with an otherworldly iridescence. Its features were delicate, almost ethereal, and its eyes, 3 of them, were closed in what seemed to be unconsciousness. "Incredible," breathed Dr. Rossi, already scanning the alien with her equipment. "It's in some kind of stasis, but the system is failing. We need to get it back to the horizon immediately." As they worked to safely extract the alien from its failing life support, Zara couldn't help but wonder about the circumstances that had led to this moment. What had happened to this ship? Where had it come from? And what would this encounter mean for humanity? With utmost care, they transferred the alien to their shuttle and raced back to the horizon. The medical bay had been prepared, transformed into its xenobiology lab to accommodate their unexpected guest. As Dr. Rossi and her team worked tirelessly to stabilize the alien, Zara paced outside the medical bay. The weight of command had never felt heavier. She had made the decision to bring an unknown life form aboard her ship, potentially risking her crew in the process. But as she watched Dr. Rossi emerge from the bay, a tired but triumphant smile on her face, Zara knew she had made the right choice. "It's going to live, Captain," Dr. Rossi announced. "And I think it's trying to communicate." Zara's breath caught in her throat. This was it, the moment that would change everything. As she stepped into the medical bay, the alien's eyes fluttered open, all three of them focusing on her with an intensity that made her pause. And then, to the astonishment of everyone present, a voice echoed in their minds. Not heard, but felt, resonating with an alien cadence that was both beautiful and unsettling. "Thank you," it said, the words carrying a weight of emotion that transcended language barriers. "I am Lyra, last survivor of the Andromean people, and I bear a warning for all sentient life in this galaxy." Zara straightened, her posture reflecting the gravity of the moment. "I'm Captain Zara Chen of the United Earth Ship Horizon. On behalf of humanity, we welcome you, Lyra, and we're ready to listen." As Lyra began to share her story, Zara realized that this encounter was just the beginning. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, one filled with wonders and dangers beyond imagination. And somehow, she knew that the fate of not just Earth, but perhaps the entire galaxy, now rested in their hands. The journey that lay ahead would test the limits of human courage, ingenuity, and compassion. But as Zara looked around at her crew, their faces a mix of awe, determination, and hope, she felt a surge of pride. Whatever challenges awaited them in the stars, humanity would face them head-on, with the fierce spirit that had carried them from Earth's cradle to the depths of space. The adventure had only just begun. The Andromean refugee. The medical bay of the UES Horizon hummed with activity as Dr. Amelia Rossi and her team worked tirelessly to stabilize that alien patient. Captain Zara Chen stood at the foot of the biobed, her eyes fixed on the shimmering form of Lyra, the Andromean refugee. Lyra's three eyes, each a swirling galaxy of silver and blue, focused on Zara with an intensity that seemed to pierce through to her very soul. The alien's voice, a melodic resonance that bypassed their ears and spoke directly to their minds, filled the room once more. "Your kindness will not be forgotten, Captain Chen," Lyra said, her gratitude palpable in every word. "But I fear I have brought great danger to your ship and your people." Zara leaned forward, her voice steady and reassuring. "We understood the risks when we answered your distress call, Lyra. Now, tell us what happened. Who attacked your ship?" Lyra's form shimmered, a ripple of what might have been pain or sorrow passing through her iridescent skin. "They are called the Void Hunters," she began, her mental voice trembling. "A race of beings consumed by their desire for power and dominion. They seek to harness the energy of dying stars, uncaring of the devastation they leave in their wake." As Lyra spoke, holographic images flickered to life around them, projected from some unseen technology within the alien's body. The crew watched in horror as entire solar systems were engulfed in cosmic fire, planets reduced to ash in the blink of an eye. "My people, the Andromeans, have long been guardians of the galactic core," Lyra continued. "We used our abilities to nurture young stars and guide the evolution of life, but the Void Hunters saw us as a threat to their ambitions." Dr. Rossi, her eyes wide with fascination, interjected, "Your abilities. You can influence stellar formation." Lyra nodded, a gesture she seemed to have quickly adopted from her human rescuers. "We are born of starlight, Dr. Rossi. Our essence is tied to the cosmic energies that flow through the galaxy. But now I fear I may be the last of my kind." The weight of Lyra's words hung heavy in the air. Zara felt a surge of determination course through her. "Not if we have anything to say about it," she declared. "Lyra, we'll help you return to your people. Maybe together we can find a way to stop these void hunters." Lyra's eyes widened in surprise. "You would risk yourselves for a people you've never met, for a conflict that isn't your own." Lieutenant Kai Takashi, who had been silently observing from the corner, stepped forward. "With all due respect, Lyra, that's kind of our thing. Humanity has a long history of standing up for what's right, even against impossible odds." Zara nodded in agreement. "Kay's right. Besides, if these void hunters are as dangerous as you say, it's only a matter of time before they become our problem too. Better to face them now, with you as our ally." A shimmer passed over Lyra's form, the Andromean equivalent of a smile, Zara guessed. "Your courage honors me, Captain, but the journey to Andromeda is long and perilous. Your ship, impressive as it is, may not be equipped for such a voyage." Dr. Rossi, who had been analyzing the data from Lyra's scans, suddenly perked up. "Actually, that might not be true. Captain, the technology in Lyra's body, it's incredible. If we could adapt some of it to the horizon, we might be able to significantly boost our propulsion and navigation systems." Zara's mind raced with possibilities. "Lyra, would you be willing to share some of your technology with us? Not as payment for our help, but as a collaboration between our peoples." Lyra's form pulsed with a warm light. "It would be my honor, Captain Chen. Perhaps together, we can forge a path that neither of our species could walk alone." Over the next few days, the horizon buzzed with activity. Engineers worked around the clock, integrating Andromean technology with human ingenuity. The ship's hull was reinforced with a layer of adaptive nanomaterials, capable of withstanding the intense pressures of faster-than-light travel. The propulsion system was overhauled, incorporating Lyra's knowledge of cosmic energy flows to create a revolutionary form of star drive. As the preparations continued, Zara found herself spending more time with Lyra, learning about Andromean culture and sharing stories of Earth. Despite their vast differences, she found a kindred spirit in the alien refugee, both of them driven by a deep sense of duty and a curiosity about the universe. "Your people are remarkable, Zara," Lyra said one evening as they stood in the ship's observation deck, gazing out at the star-filled void. "In the face of the unknown, you don't cower or retreat. You reach out, you adapt, you grow. It's beautiful." Zara felt a warmth in her chest at Lyra's words. "We've had our share of dark moments in our history," she admitted, "but we've always strived to be better, to reach further. Meeting you, learning about the wonders and dangers out there, it only strengthens our resolve." As they talked, a commotion from the corridor caught their attention. Security Chief Marcus Wells burst into the observation deck, his face grim. "Captain, we've got a problem. We've detected a ship on an intercept course. Its energy signature matches Lyra's descriptions of the Void Hunters." Zara's body tensed, adrenaline surging through her veins. "How long until intercept?" "At their current speed, less than an hour," Marcus replied. Lyra's form flickered with alarm. "They must have detected the energy emissions from the modifications to your ship. Captain, I'm so sorry. I never meant to bring this danger to your doorstep." Zara placed a reassuring hand near Lyra's shimmering form, feeling the warm tingle of the alien's energy field. "This isn't your fault, Lyra. We knew the risks. Now, let's show these void hunters what happens when they mess with the combined might of humanity and Andromeda." As they raced to the bridge, Zara's mind whirled with tactical options. The horizon was still in the midst of its upgrades, not fully prepared for a confrontation with an advanced alien threat, but they had surprise on their side, and the fierce determination that had carried humanity to the stars. The bridge was a flurry of activity as Zara took her command chair. Status report, she barked. Kai's fingers flew over his console. The Void Hunter ship is larger than ours, Captain. Their weapon systems are charging, but they haven't locked on yet. I think they're trying to hail us. Zara exchanged a glance with Lyra, who had taken up position beside her. Let's hear what they have to say, but be ready for anything. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a being that seemed to be composed of living shadow. Its voice, when it spoke, was a harsh whisper that sent chills down Zora's spine. Humans of Earth, it said, its tone dripping with disdain. You harbor a fugitive of great value to us. Surrender the Andromean, and we may yet spare your insignificant world. Zara stood, her posture radiating defiance. I am Captain Zara Chen of the UAS Horizon. We don't respond well to threats, and we certainly don't abandon our friends. If you want Lyra, you'll have to go through us. The Void Hunter's form seemed to ripple with anger. So be it. Your species' extinction will serve as a warning to all who would defy the will of the Void. As the transmission cut off, Zara turned to her crew. Battle stations. Kai, activate the new shields. Marcus, charge weapons. Helm, prepare for evasive maneuvers. As the Horizon's systems hummed to life, powered by the fusion of human and Andromean technology, Zara felt a fierce pride in her crew and their alien ally. They were about to face an enemy of unimaginable power, defending not just their own lives, but the very principles that defined humanity. Whatever happens, Zara said, her voice carrying to every corner of the ship, remember this moment. This is where we prove that humanity's spirit burns brighter than any star, and that our courage can overcome even the darkest void. The space around them lit up with weapons fire as the Void Hunter ship launched its assault. The battle for the future of two civilizations, and perhaps the entire galaxy, had begun. Journey to Andromeda. The UES Horizon shuddered as another volley of energy blasts from the Void Hunter ship impacted its shields. Captain Zara Chen gripped her command chair, her knuckles white, but her voice steady as she barked orders to her crew. Kai, reroute auxiliary power to the shields. Marcus, target their weapons array. Let's show them what this hybrid tech can do. Beside her, Lyra's form pulsed with nervous energy. Captain, I may be able to help. The Void Hunter's ships draw power from gravitational distortions. If we can create a localized field to disrupt their energy flow. Zara nodded sharply. Do it. Work with Dr. Rossi to make it happen. As Lyra and Dr. Rossi hurried off the bridge, the Horizon banked hard to avoid another barrage. The inertial dampeners strained to compensate, and Zara felt the deck lurch beneath her feet. Direct hit on their port side. Marcus called out, a note of triumph in his voice. Their shields are weakening. But the victory was short-lived. The Void Hunter ship seemed to absorb the darkness around it, growing more massive and ominous. A beam of pure void energy lanced out, slicing through the Horizon's shields like they weren't even there. Alarms blared as systems across the ship began to fail. Zara's mind raced, searching for a solution. They were outgunned, outmaneuvered, and rapidly running out of options. Just as despair threatened to overtake her, Lyra's voice echoed through her mind. Captain, we're ready, but we'll need to get close, very close. Zara didn't hesitate. Helm, set a collision course with the Void Hunter ship. Full speed ahead. The bridge crew looked at her in shock, but years of training kicked in. The Horizon surged forward, engines straining as it hurtled towards its massive opponent. Lyra, whatever you're going to do it now. Zara shouted as the Void Hunter ship loomed large in their view screen. Suddenly, a pulse of energy unlike anything Zara had ever seen before emanated from the Horizon. It wasn't a weapon, it was pure gravitational force, warping the very fabric of space-time around them. The effect on the Void Hunter ship was immediate and catastrophic. Its sleek form began to crumple in on itself, dark energy dissipating into the vacuum of space. With a final, silent implosion, the threat was neutralized. As the crew of the Horizon let out a collective breath, Zara slumped back in her chair. They had survived, against all odds. But the battle had taken its toll. The ship's systems were damaged, and they were stranded far from any known space lanes. Over the next few days, as repairs were underway, Zara met with her senior staff to plan their next move. The decision was unanimous. They would continue on to Andromeda. The encounter with the Void Hunters had only reinforced the urgency of their mission. With Lyra's guidance and the innovative fusion of human and Andromean technology, the Horizon prepared for the longest journey any Earth ship had ever attempted. The repaired and upgraded star drive hummed with potential, ready to catapult them across the galactic void. As the ship accelerated to speeds beyond imagination, the crew settled in for a voyage that would test not just their technology, but their very humanity. Weeks stretched into months, and the familiar stars of the Milky Way gave way to the uncharted expanse between galaxies. During this time, the bond between the human crew and Lyra deepened. The Andromean shared stories of her people's history, their triumphs and mistakes, their hopes and fears. In turn, the humans taught Lyra about Earth's diverse cultures, its art and music, its endless capacity for both destruction and creation. Zara found herself spending more and more time with Lyra, drawn to the aliens' wisdom and compassion. Together, they grappled with the enormous responsibility they bore, the fate of two civilizations, perhaps even the entire intergalactic community, resting on their shoulders. But the journey was far from smooth. As they ventured deeper into unknown space, the Horizon encountered challenges that pushed the limits of both their technology and their courage. They navigated through fields of dark matter that threatened to tear the ship apart, the combined efforts of human engineers and Lyra's cosmic knowledge barely keeping them intact. They faced temporal anomalies that caused some crew members to age years in minutes, while others experienced time in reverse. Dr. Rossi worked tirelessly to stabilize their biology, with Lyra's assistance proving invaluable. Perhaps most harrowing was their encounter with the void between thoughts, a region of space where the very concept of consciousness seemed to break down. For days, the crew struggled to maintain their sense of self, relying on each other and the strong bonds they had formed to anchor them to reality. Through it all, Zara led with a steady hand and an unwavering spirit. When fear threatened to overwhelm them, she reminded her crew of the importance of their mission. When homesickness set in, she organized movie nights and improvised concerts, keeping morale high with a touch of Earth's culture amidst the alien stars. As they finally approached the outskirts of the Andromeda galaxy, tensions on the ship began to rise. They had been changed by their journey in ways both subtle and profound. What would they find in this new galaxy? Would Lyra's people still be there? And if so, how would they react to these human visitors from across the cosmic sea? Lyra, sensing the crew's apprehension, called them together in the ship's mess hall. Her form glowed with a soft, comforting light as she addressed them. "My friends," she began, her mental voice filled with emotion, "no matter what awaits us in Andromeda, know that you have already accomplished something extraordinary. You have bridged the gap between galaxies, between civilizations. You have shown courage and compassion beyond measure. Whatever challenges lie ahead, we will face them together, not as humans and Andromean, but as a united crew." Zara stepped forward, standing beside Lyra. "We've come further than any humans ever have," she said, her voice strong and clear. "We've seen wonders and horrors beyond imagination. But through it all, we've remained true to the best of what humanity represents, our curiosity, our resilience, our capacity for growth and change. Whatever Andromeda holds for us, we're ready." As if in response to her words, the ship's sensors suddenly lit up. Kai's voice came over the intercom, tight with excitement. "Captain, we're picking up signals. Thousands of them. It's a civilization, unlike anything we've ever seen." Zara and Lyra rushed to the bridge, the rest of the crew hot on their heels. As they crowded around the viewscreen, a collective gasp went up. Before them, spread out in all its glory, was the heart of Andromean civilization, a vast living network of stellar nurseries and cosmic energies, more beautiful and more alien than anything they could have imagined. But amidst the wonder, Zora's trained eye caught something else. Flashes of weapons fire, signs of conflict. The Andromean home was under attack. Lyra's form flickered with distress. "No," she whispered. "We're too late. The Void Hunters, they're already here." Zora straightened, her jaw set with determination. They had come too far to turn back now. "Battle stations," she ordered, her voice ringing with authority. "We didn't cross the gulf between galaxies to stand idly by. Lyra, tell us where to go. It's time to save your people." As the horizon plunged into the heart of the conflict, Zora knew that the true test of their journey was just beginning. The fate of two galaxies hung in the balance, and humanity was about to make its stand on the grandest stage imaginable. The battle for Andromeda had begun. Arrival and deception. The UES horizon streaked through the star-studded expanse of Andromeda, its hybrid engines pushing the ship to speeds that defied human understanding. Captain Zora Chen stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the unfolding battle before them. The Void Hunters' ships, dark and ominous, swarmed around the celestial structures of Andromean civilization like locusts devouring a field. "Lyra, we need a plan," Zora said, turning to the shimmering form of their Andromean ally. "Where can we make the most difference?" Lyra's three eyes darted across the tactical display, assessing the situation with millennia of cosmic wisdom. "There," she said, indicating a massive, pulsating structure at the heart of the conflict. "The stellar cradle. It's the source of our people's power and the center of our civilization. If it falls, all is lost." Zora nodded sharply. "Kai, set a course. Marcus, ready all weapons. Dr. Rossi, prepare for casualties. We're going in hot." As the horizon plunged into the fray, the crew worked with practiced efficiency, their months of journey having honed them into a seamless unit. Human determination combined with Andromean technology as they unleashed a barrage of attacks on the Void Hunter ships. The battle was fierce and chaotic. Energy beams crisscrossed the void, and explosions bloomed like silent flowers in the vacuum of space. The horizon weaved through the combat, its smaller size and superior maneuverability allowing it to punch well above its weight. But as they neared the stellar cradle, something changed. The Void Hunters, previously intent on destruction, began to fall back. It was too easy, and Zora's instincts, honed by years of command, screamed that something was wrong. "Captain," Kai called out, his voice tense. "We're being hailed. It's coming from inside the stellar cradle." Zora exchanged a puzzled glance with Lyra. "On screen," she ordered. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a face that caused Lyra's form to pulse with shock. It was an Andromean, but unlike Lyra, its features were hard, its eyes cold and calculating. "I am Zorthal, High Counselor of Andromeda," the figure announced. "Unidentified vessel, state your purpose or be destroyed." Before Zora could respond, Lyra floated forward. "Zorthal, but how? The council was destroyed in the initial attack. I saw it happen." The Andromean leader's eyes narrowed. "Lyra, we thought you lost. Your return is unexpected." Something in Zorthal's tone set Zora on edge. She stepped forward, placing herself protectively near Lyra. "I'm Captain Zora Chen of the UES Horizon. We've come from the Milky Way in response to Lyra's distress call. We're here to help." Zorthal's expression remained impassive. "Your assistance is appreciated, Captain, but unnecessary. The situation is under control. If you'll dock with the stellar cradle, we can discuss your reward for bringing Lyra back to us." As the transmission cut off, the bridge of the horizon erupted into confused chatter. Lyra's form flickered erratically, her distress palpable. "Captain," she said, her mental voice trembling. "Something is deeply wrong." Zorthal's words, his demeanor, "It's all wrong." "And the Void Hunters, why would they retreat so suddenly?" Zora nodded grimly. "I agree. "This smells like a trap. But we can't just turn back. We need answers." She turned to her crew. "We'll dock as requested, but stay alert. Marcus, I want a security team ready. Dr. Rossi, keep the med bay prepped. Kai, at the first sign of trouble, be ready to get us out of here." As the horizon approached the stellar cradle, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that they were flying into the jaws of a predator. The massive structure loomed before them, its crystalline surfaces refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. But beneath its beauty, there was a sense of wrongness, a discord in the cosmic harmony that Lyra had described. The docking procedure was smooth, almost too smooth. As Zara led a small team, including Lyra, off the ship, they were met by a contingent of Andromean guards. Their forms were similar to Lyra's, but there was a rigidity to their posture, a coldness in their eyes that sent a chill down Zara's spine. They were led through twisting corridors of living crystal, deeper into the heart of the stellar cradle. Zara's hand never strayed far from her weapon, and she could sense the tension in her team. Lyra floated beside her, her usual radiance dimmed by worry and confusion. Finally, they entered a vast chamber. At its center stood Zorthal, surrounded by what appeared to be the Andromean High Council. But as Zara looked closer, she noticed something off about their appearances. There was a shadowy quality to them, as if they weren't fully there. "Welcome, travelers," Zorthal said, his voice echoing in the cavernous space. "You've come a long way, but I'm afraid your journey was in vain." Before anyone could react, dark tendrils of energy erupted from the floor, ensnaring Zara and her team. Only Lyra remained free, her form pulsing with shock and betrayal. "Zorthal, what is the meaning of this?" Lyra demanded. The Andromean leader's form began to shift, the facade melting away to reveal a being of pure darkness, a void hunter. "Oh, Lyra," it said, its voice now a harsh whisper. "Always so naive. Did you really think we wouldn't infiltrate your precious council? Your people's power over cosmic energy is impressive, but ultimately, they were too weak to see the true potential of the void." Zara struggled against her bonds, her mind racing. They had walked right into a trap, but she refused to give up. "Whatever you're planning," she growled, "it won't work. Earth knows we're here. They'll come looking for us." The void hunter laughed, a sound like shattering glass. "By the time your people mount a rescue, it will be far too late. With the power of the stellar cradle, we'll be able to harness the energy of entire galaxies. The universe itself will bow to the will of the void." As the gravity of their situation sank in, Zara caught Lyra's eye. In that moment, a silent understanding passed between them. They had come too far, faced too much, to let it end like this. Somehow, they would find a way to turn the tables. The fate of not just Andromeda, but the entire universe now hung in the balance. And despite the odds stacked against them, Zara felt a familiar fire ignite within her. It was the same fire that had driven humanity to the stars, the same determination that had carried them across the gulf between galaxies. They were outgunned and outnumbered, trapped in the heart of enemy territory. But they were not beaten. Not yet. As Zara met the cold, empty gaze of the Void Hunter, she made a silent vow. They would find a way to overcome this. They would save Andromeda, protect Earth, and show the universe the true strength of the human spirit. The real battle was just beginning. The battle for Andromeda. Captain Zara Chen strained against the dark energy bonds that held her, her mind racing to find a way out of their dire situation. Around her, her crew struggled similarly, while Lyra hovered nearby, her form flickering with distress and indecision. The Void Hunter that had been masquerading as Zorthal loomed over them, its form seeming to absorb the light around it. "Your tenacity is admirable, humans," it hissed, "but futile. Soon, the power of the stellar cradle will be ours, and the age of void will begin." Zara's eyes darted around the chamber, taking in every detail. Despite the gravity of their situation, her training kicked in, analyzing, strategizing. That's when she noticed something, a subtle flicker in the crystal walls, a rhythm that seemed to pulse in time with Lyra's own energy fluctuations. "Lyra," Zara called out, her voice steady despite the circumstances. "The cradle, it's alive, isn't it? And it's connected to you, to all Andromenes." Lyra's 3 eyes widened in realization. "Yes," she responded, her mental voice tinged with hope. "The stellar cradle is the heart of our civilization, a living entity that bonds with all Andromenes. But I don't see how." "Then it's not lost yet," Zara interrupted, a plan forming in her mind. "Your people might be imprisoned or in hiding, but they're still connected. You can reach them, rally them." The Void Hunter laughed, a sound like grinding glass. "A touching notion, but..." It never finished the sentence. With a surge of determination, Lyra's form began to glow brighter than ever before. She spread her ethereal arms wide, and a pulse of pure, radiant energy exploded outward. The effect was immediate and stunning. The crystal walls of the chamber came alive with light, pulsing in harmony with Lyra's energy. The dark bonds holding Zara and her crew dissolved, unable to withstand the surge of cosmic power. "No," the Void Hunter roared, its form wavering as it was buffeted by waves of energy. "What have you done?" Lyra's voice, stronger than Zara had ever heard it, resonated through the chamber and beyond. "I have awakened my people. The Andromenes will not fall to the void. Not today, not ever." All around them, the stellar cradle hummed with renewed life. Zara could feel the shift in the air, the surge of hope and determination. But she knew the battle was far from over. "Marcus, get back to the horizon," she ordered. "Coordinate with any Andromean ships that might be out there. We need to push back the Void Hunter fleet." As Marcus sprinted off, Zara turned to Dr. Rossi. "Work with Lyra. Figure out how we can use this energy to our advantage. If we can amplify it, maybe we can drive the Void Hunters out entirely." The Void Hunter that had been Zorthal snarled, its form growing larger and more menacing. "You think your little light show can stop us? We are the Void. We are eternal." It lashed out with tendrils of dark energy, but Zara was ready. She dodged the attack, her movements fluid and precise. The months of journey through space had honed her reflexes to a razor's edge. "Kai," she shouted into her comm unit, "tell me you've got something." Kai's voice crackled back, tense but determined. "Working on it, Captain. The Horizon's sensors are picking up massive energy fluctuations throughout the cradle. If we can synchronize our hybrid drive with these pulses, we might be able to create a shockwave that could disrupt the Void Hunter's energy matrix." As Zara fought to keep the Void Hunter at bay, buying time for her crew, she saw Lyra and Dr. Rossi huddled over a control panel. Their forms were surrounded by a nimbus of energy, human science, and Andromean cosmic power working in perfect harmony. Suddenly, the chamber shook violently. Through the crystal walls, Zara could see flashes of weapons fire. The battle had begun in earnest. "Marcus, report," she barked into her comm. "It's chaos out here, Captain," Marcus replied, the sound of alarms blaring in the background. "The Andromean ships are engaging the Void Hunters, but they're outnumbered. We're doing what we can, but..." His words were cut off by a massive explosion. Zara's heart raced, but she forced herself to focus on the immediate threat. The Void Hunter pressed its attack, its form growing more monstrous with each passing moment. "Your resistance is pathetic," it growled. "We will consume everything. Your light, your life, your very essence will be ours." But as it spoke, Zara noticed something. With each pulse of energy from the cradle, the Void Hunter's form seemed to waver, just for a split second. A weakness, perhaps. "Lyra," she called out. "The pulses, can you intensify them?" Lyra's form shimmered with effort. I think so, but it would take everything we have. The cradle, the Andromean fleet, even your ship's energy. We'd be defenseless if it doesn't work." Zara met Lyra's gaze, seeing in those alien eyes the same determination she felt. "Then we make it work. because if we don't, there won't be anything left to defend." With a nod of understanding, Lara turned back to the control panel. Dr. Rossi's hands flew over the controls, making adjustments within human speed. "Kai," Zara said into her comm, "prepare to divert all power to the hybrid drive. On my mark, give it everything we've got." As Zara continued to dodge and weave, keeping the Void Hunter's attention focused on her, she felt a change in the air. The energy pulses from the cradle were growing stronger, more frequent. The crystal walls hummed with power, and Zara could swear she heard a distant song, the voice of Andromeda itself, rising in defiance against the void. The Void Hunter sensed the change too. Its attacks became more frenzied, more desperate. "You cannot win," it screamed. "The void is all. The void is eternal." Zara allowed herself a grim smile. "Maybe," she said, "but so is the light." With that, she gave the signal. Now. The universe seemed to hold its breath for a moment. Then, everything exploded into brilliance. The combined power of the stellar cradle, the Andromean fleet, and the UES horizon surged forth in a wave of pure, radiant energy. It washed over everything, burning away the darkness, scouring the void from every corner of Andromeda. The Void Hunter before them screamed, its form disintegrating under the onslaught of light. All around, Zara could hear the distant cries of its brethren as they too were consumed by the power they had sought to control. As quickly as it had begun, it was over. The wave of energy dissipated, leaving behind a stunned silence. Zara blinked, her eyes adjusting to the sudden absence of the all-consuming light. The chamber was in ruins, but as she looked around, she saw her crew, battered but alive. And there was Lyra, her form glowing softly, a look of wonder on her alien features. We did it," Lyra whispered. "The Void Hunters are gone. Andromeda is safe." Zara allowed herself a moment of relief before the reality of their situation set in. "What's the damage?" she asked, already moving towards the exit. "To the cradle, to our ship, to the Andromean fleet." As they made their way through the now quiet corridors of the stellar cradle, reports began to flood in. The toll had been heavy, many Andromean ships destroyed, parts of the cradle critically damaged. The horizon had been pushed to its absolute limits. But they had won. Against all odds, humanity's first foray into another galaxy had turned the tide in an ancient cosmic war. As they emerged onto an observation deck, Zara gasped. The view before them was one of destruction, yes, but also of rebirth. All across Andromeda, stars were burning brighter, nebulae were swirling with new life, and the distant forms of Andromean ships were emerging from hiding. Laura floated up beside her, her form shimmering with emotion. "Captain," she said softly, "I don't know how to thank you. Your people, your ship, you've saved us all." Zara smiled, feeling the weight of their journey, their battles, their triumphs. "That's what humanity does, Lyra. We explore, we connect, and when the moment comes, we stand up for what's right, no matter the odds." As they stood there, watching the rebirth of a galaxy, Zara knew that this was just the beginning. The bridge between Earth and Andromeda had been forged in fire and stardust. Whatever came next, they would face it together, two civilizations united by courage, compassion, and an unyielding spirit of adventure. The battle for Andromeda was over. The next chapter of galactic history was about to begin. A new galactic order. In the days following the Great Battle, the Andromeda galaxy buzzed with activity. The stellar cradle, though damaged, pulsed with renewed energy as Andromeans from across the galaxy returned to help rebuild. Captain Zara Chen and the crew of the UES Horizon found themselves at the center of it all, hailed as heroes by a civilization they had only just met. Zara stood on the observation deck of a newly constructed Andromean space station, watching as ships of all sizes darted back and forth. Beside her, Lyra's form shimmered with a quiet contentment. "It's remarkable," Zara said, breaking the comfortable silence. "Just days ago, your people were on the brink of extinction. Now look at them. Lyra's three eyes crinkled in what Zara had come to recognize as a smile. We are a resilient species, Captain. Much like humans, I've come to realize. But make no mistake, without you and your crew, there would be nothing left to rebuild. Before Zara could respond, the door to the observation deck slid open. Dr. Amelia Rossi entered, her eyes bright with excitement. "Captain, Lyra, you need to see this," she said, gesturing for them to follow. They made their way to a large chamber that had been converted into a makeshift laboratory. Inside, a team of human scientists and Andromean scholars worked side by side, their disparate forms hunched over various instruments and holographic displays. "We've been analyzing the data from the battle," Dr. Rossi explained as they walked. "The way our hybrid technology interfaced with the stellar cradle, the energy wave we created, it's revolutionary. We're talking about potential breakthroughs in faster-than-light travel, energy production, even the manipulation of space-time itself." Zara felt a mix of pride and trepidation. Such advancements could change the course of human history, of galactic history. But with great power came great responsibility. As if reading her thoughts, Lyra spoke up. "Which is why we've called this gathering," she said, gesturing towards a large conference room adjacent to the lab. Inside, Zara was surprised to see not just her senior staff and Andromean leaders, but also holographic representations of Earth's top officials. The tension in the room was palpable. An elderly Andromean, his form glowing with a soft, wise light, floated to the center of the room. "I am Silos, the newly appointed High Counselor of Andromeda," he began. "We stand at a crossroads. The threat of the Void Hunters has been vanquished, but in doing so, we have revealed ourselves to each other in ways neither of our civilizations was fully prepared for." The holographic image of Earth's Secretary General nodded gravely. "Indeed, the reports we've received are, well, they're beyond anything we could have imagined when we launched the Horizon on its mission of exploration." Zara stepped forward, feeling the weight of the moment. "With all due respect," she said, her voice clear and strong, "we can't put this genie back in the bottle. Nor should we try. Yes, the knowledge and technology we've gained are powerful, potentially dangerous in the wrong hands. But they also represent an opportunity, a chance for both our civilizations to grow, to explore, to safeguard not just our own worlds, but the galaxy as a whole." Murmurs of agreement and concern rippled through the room. Silos raised a glowing appendage for silence. "Captain Chen speaks wisdom," he said, "which is why we propose the formation of a new galactic order, an alliance between Andromeda and the Milky Way, with the goal of mutual protection, exploration, and advancement." The next few hours were filled with intense discussion and debate. The implications of such an alliance were staggering: cultural exchange, technological cooperation, joint defense initiatives. There were concerns raised about the vast distance between the galaxies, the potential for misunderstanding or conflict. But as Zara listened and contributed, she felt a growing sense of hope. This was why they had journeyed into the unknown, why they had fought so hard. Not just to save Andromeda, but to expand the horizons of what was possible. As the meeting drew to a close, a consensus began to form. The alliance would start small exchange programs, joint research projects, the establishment of communication relays between the galaxies. But it was a start, a foundation upon which a grander future could be built. The Secretary General's hologram turned to Zara. "Captain Chen, in light of your unique experience and the bonds you formed with the Andromeans, we'd like you to serve as Earth's first ambassador to Andromeda. Your mission will be to oversee the initial stages of our alliance and to continue exploring this new frontier." Zara felt a surge of emotion, honor, excitement, a touch of trepidation. She looked around at her crew, seeing in their eyes the same mix of feelings. Then she turned to Lyra, who gave her an encouraging nod. "I accept," Zara said, her voice firm with resolve. "On behalf of my crew and all of humanity, I accept." The room erupted in applause, a strange mix of human clapping and Andromean energy pulses. As the meeting adjourned and people began to file out, Zara found herself once again on the observation deck, gazing out at the star-filled expanse of Andromeda. Laura floated up beside her. "So, Ambassador," she said, a teasing lilt in her mental voice, "are you ready for your next great adventure?" Zara laughed, feeling a lightness in her heart that she hadn't experienced since they'd first set out from Earth. "You know," she said, "I think I am. We've only scratched the surface of what's out there, Lyra. There are more wonders to discover, more challenges to face. And now we'll face them together, humans and Andromenes, two galaxies united." As they stood there, watching the swirl of stars and ships, Zara felt a profound sense of awe and purpose. They had crossed the gulf between galaxies, faced down cosmic horrors, and emerged stronger for it. Whatever the future held, be it further exploration, new threats, or unimaginable discoveries, they would meet it head-on with courage, compassion, and an unwavering spirit of adventure. The next chapter in the grand cosmic story was about to begin, and Zara Chen, once captain of the UES Horizon, now ambassador to a foreign galaxy, couldn't wait to see how it would unfold. As the first streams of data began to flow between Andromeda and the Milky Way, as ships prepared for the long journey between galaxies, as scientists and scholars excitedly exchanged ideas, a new era of galactic history dawned. An era of cooperation, of discovery, of pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible. And at the heart of it all was a simple truth that Zara had known all along, that the human spirit, when combined with determination, compassion, and a willingness to reach out to the unknown, could accomplish the impossible. They had not just saved a galaxy, they had opened up a universe of possibilities. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning.